Parsons family is looking for answers and asking for help after 18-year-old Andrew Scott was seriously injured in a hit and run over the weekend. I'm Kate Kelly with his story just ahead.
Freeman Hospital is getting the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. We'll learn how they plan to distribute it.
It's the holiday shipping season, which any other year is fairly busy, but with coronavirus, it's increased the demand exponentially. I'm Chris Warner with how that demand is impacting shipping services.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
He was laying there broken, bleeding, in excruciating pain.
A Parsons, Kansas family is speaking out in hopes of finding the driver responsible for the serious injury of 18-year-old Andrew Scott. This is KOAM News at 6. Andrew was hit by an unknown vehicle at 2:30 a.m. on Saturday while walking home from a party and left for dead. KOAM's Kate Kelly shares his story of survival as he begins the long road to recovery.
Andrew Scott is a young man his family describes as vibrant and full of life, caring and generous. They just celebrated an early Christmas together when they got the call that he'd been hit by a vehicle after walking away from a party. His family rushed to be with him.
All he could do was cry out about how he felt like he wasn't going to make it, and that he was so glad that we were there. And that was the hardest thing, is to watch your children laying there in a way that, you can't do anything to help them.
I'm standing in the area where the hit and run took place. Somewhere along this stretch of 35th Street and Southern Avenue, Andrew was struck from behind. He managed to drag himself into the ditch where he waited for hours, calling for help before it came.
He was laying there trying to call for help, but he was not able to do it with any kind of force or any volume. He had punctured his lung, he had broken several ribs, he was just massively beaten and bruised and bleeding. And so he laid in somebody's yard for about 2 hours before someone got up in the morning and was taking their dogs out and heard him and called the police, and they responded to it.
Andrew was life-flighted to Freeman Hospital in Joplin. With COVID restrictions, only his mother could be with him, but she phoned, and Andrew's older brother says hearing his voice was both a relief and heart-wrenching.
He was just completely heartbroken. Like, he was just in tears. He was like, "I miss you. Please, like, I don't want to be here. Like, I'm so scared." And I was like, "I know, bub. Like, I know you're scared. Like, it's, and it's really hard to hear your baby brother, as tough as he is, sound like that."
Police are still looking for the driver responsible for Andrew's injury. In a statement, Parsons Police Chief Robert Spinks said in part, "This kind of incident is tragic and upsetting for multiple reasons. First, that someone can hit a pedestrian and continue on without stopping. Secondly, we have heard that there are persons with knowledge of the possible suspect in this case, but are withholding this information in hopes of gaining financially from Mr. Scott's injuries and terrible circumstances." Andrew's family is asking for answers, knowing that having justice will be part of his healing process.
We'll come together as a community and we'll get through it. But I want to see that he knows that not only is the community there, but the people that were involved in this also, aren't going to just be able to walk away from it without any consequences.
In Parsons, Kate Kelly, KOAM News.
If you have any information regarding this case, please call the Parsons Police Department. For those who'd like to help Andrew's family with medical expenses and other costs, we've included a link to their GoFundMe page in this article on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. A crash on Murphy Boulevard in Joplin, just north of the Broadway Viaduct, kills a Carthage man. Police say 28-year-old Alvaros Rivas drove his car off the road, landing upside down in a creek. Rivas died at the scene. The initial investigation indicates the car hit multiple light poles before overturning and going into the creek. Doug Heddy joins us now with a first look at the weather. Hi, Doug.
Hey, Dallin. It turned out to be a fantastic day for us today. Near record high, 67 for a high. We started at 33 during the morning hours. Average high is 45, so over 20 degrees above where we should be for this time of the year. We do have some clouds which have been increasing over the past couple hours, but in general, It looks pretty good throughout the evening hours. It's going to be still very windy like we've seen all day long, but our next storm system is developing out across the Rockies, and that will start to affect us by the time we head into late tonight and then also into the daytime hours tomorrow. And very windy across the region, still south winds at about 10 to 20. We're getting gusts, which are higher than that, but our temperature is still great. Most of us sitting mid to upper 50s to near 60 degrees. We're not really going to drop off too much tonight, only into lower 50s ahead of a cold front that rolls in tomorrow. So we're going to be talking more about that here in just a bit.
All right, we'll catch you then. Thanks, Doug. With 2 COVID-19 vaccines now available, you might wonder how they differ. Both use the messenger RNA or mRNA, but there are differences. First, the Pfizer vaccine was approved for use in people ages 16 and older. The Moderna vaccine is approved for people 18 and older. The company is testing its vaccine for 12 to 17-year-olds. They've both shown surprising efficacy. The Pfizer vaccine was shown to be 95% effective 7 days after the second dose was administered. The Moderna vaccine was 94.1% effective starting 14 days after the second dose. They both require cold storage, but the Moderna vaccine will be easier to store. It must be shipped at -4 degrees Fahrenheit, or the temperature of a standard freezer. The Pfizer vaccine, it has to be stored at -94 degrees Fahrenheit. Freeman Health System in Joplin is putting the Moderna vaccine to use. The health system started to vaccinate healthcare workers at the hospital this afternoon. 45 workers were vaccinated in the first half hour of distribution. The hospital is focusing on healthcare workers who are at the highest risk of being exposed to the disease. One doctor who received the shot says he was excited to get it, and it's a huge deal for the hospital and anyone who may need to see a doctor.
This is the first time we've had such an illness that the patient can come to the hospital needing our help, and we can get infected and have to step away from our jobs of helping others. Once we get the healthcare systems vaccinated to where we are protected, it just further helps us to take care of the patients.
Freeman says the state has guaranteed the second 300 doses for boosters will be at the hospital by the time they're needed. The Jasper County Health Department is reporting its 98th COVID-19 related death. They say the patient was a woman in her 90s. The Joplin Health Department is reporting 3 more COVID-19 deaths. They were 2 men, ages 94 and 88, and a 98-year-old woman. These deaths bring the city's total to 89. An 89-year-old Oklahoma woman becomes that state's first long-term care resident to receive a COVID-19 vaccine. Frances Wantland, a resident of The Lodge in Oklahoma City, got her vaccination alongside nurse Pam Byers and Scott Pilgrim, the CEO of the company that operates The Lodge. Governor Kevin Stitt and state health leaders held a news conference today celebrating the vaccinations. The governor said it was a big moment for the entire state.
And to Oklahomans, this is a big day. We're getting the vaccines into nursing homes, long-term care facilities, and it's a major step forward in our fight against COVID-19. In the first week since the vaccines arrived in the state of Oklahoma, we have given it to 21,000 healthcare workers and first responders.
That's right. First week since they arrived, 21,000 healthcare workers, first responders in all 77 counties have been vaccinated. Health officials in Missouri say more than 23,000 vaccines have been administered to frontline healthcare workers and nursing home residents and staff. No word on how many have been vaccinated in Kansas. Missouri Governor Mike Parson yesterday pardoned 24 people, but he won't say who they are. Parson also commuted the sentences of 3 prior drug offenders to house arrest. These are the first pardons that Parson has granted since taking office in 2018. Parson's office refused to name those getting pardoned. His office said some of the former criminals' families had not yet been notified. Still ahead, with an uptick in online shopping, we're going to find out how U.S. delivery services are making sure your gifts arrive in time for Christmas. And a 2-wheeled salute to a Carthage stroke survivor. Santa Claus is coming to town. Maybe you've heard. And he's getting a little help from his friends at the United States Postal Service, UPS, and FedEx, to name a few. KOAM's Chris Warner explains how they're working to ensure your holiday packages arrive on time despite the high demand.
Santa isn't the only one making a list and checking it twice. Those doing your holiday shipping, like the United States Postal Service, are doing the same thing, making sure what you order gets to you on time.
We hired a bunch of extra people early. We always bring on extra seasonal employees. We brought on extra transportation. We've got folks working 24/7, 7 days a week.
Officials with FedEx say they're doing the same thing in an email sent to KOAM, saying their workers across the globe are working, quote, tirelessly and safely to meet demands this holiday season. UPS also sent us an email saying they've hired around 100,000 seasonal employees and an additional 39,000 permanent employees to help during what the Postal Service says is an historic time.
A lot of folks are working from home. We're teaching the kids from home, things like that. So a lot of online shipping. A lot of folks won't be traveling this year, so they'll be mailing those very same packages that they ordered for themselves to their loved ones as well.
For the Postal Service, it goes beyond just the daily mail deliveries.
It's all, service mail for us. It's not just packages or just letters or things like that. We're taking care of communication for the people across the country and around the world.
In Joplin, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
While many holiday shipping deadlines have passed, there are actually still a few options left to get Christmas deliveries to their destinations. We've put a link with delivery deadlines on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. A Carthage native receives a special dedication after health complications make doing what he loves impossible. Bob Meeks was the band director in Carthage for decades and has been a part of the Patriot Guard Riders since 2006. Over the last month, Meeks has had a series of strokes that make riding impossible. So his friends in the Patriot Guard came to visit him and wish him well after making an entrance on a dozen motorcycles.
He hasn't smiled or laughed as much since all this happened. He was in the hospital for two or 3 weeks and then in rehab. It was wonderful of them to do that.
I haven't seen him smile that much in a long time. It's just made his day, and if I can be a part of that, then I'm honored to do that.
Bob and Sylvia will be celebrating their 62nd wedding anniversary next Monday. So they say it was like an early anniversary, President. Happy anniversary. Get well. Doug Heddy is up next with his complete forecast. And a little bit later, we're going to tell you about the role Freeman Hospital is playing in training the next generation of rural healthcare professionals.
Stay and play.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great day for us today. Temperatures upper 60s, actually pushing record highs across the region, and very windy as well. But we do have a cold front that is heading toward us, and that's going to give us a few showers, also make us much colder over the next couple days. We do have additional storm systems, one on Sunday, one on Wednesday, which could kind of overlap into New Year's Eve. Of course, you can get my long-range forecast on my month-long blog. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Upper 50s to near 60 degrees still across the region. Most of us are going to be slowly dropping off throughout the evening hours. Our winds fairly strong out the south at about 10 to 20, but earlier today we were getting gusts at 35 to 40. We are still getting winds gusting at about 30 to 35 miles per hour, and it looks like the winds are going to stay fairly breezy for us tonight. Outside right now, we currently sit at 58, south winds at about 16, humidity is 46%. We're not really going to drop off much throughout the evening hours, only down to about 51, 52, 53 degrees, and then we'll drop as we work through the daytime hours for us tomorrow. A lot of clouds starting to increase. These are mid and upper level clouds. There's nothing underneath the clouds, but eventually we'll get a few showers a little bit later on tonight as our next storm system continues to develop, which is out to the west, right across central parts of the Rockies. And it's a weaker system. It's really going to organize by the time we head into the daytime hours for us tomorrow. It's just not going to have a ton of moisture. It's going to really gain a lot of moisture by the time it passes by, but I still think we'll see a few random little showers. Clouds increase tonight. Look at our temps. We really don't drop off. A few random showers start to develop 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. These are going to be very scattered, very light across the region. Just kind of push on through by 9 or 10 o'clock. They're all gone. But a cold front is going to be shifting through. You can see the winds behind it out of the northwest. Ahead of it, they're out of the south. So our temperatures will actually drop back into the 40s by the time we head into the afternoon hours. So we'll start to get colder. We'll clear out tomorrow night. We'll drop into lower 20s. So it's going to be a cold night. And then on Christmas Eve day, we're just not really going to warm up. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, but we're going to only go into lower 30s. 4 highs. Friday, Christmas Day, a little bit better as we should rebound into the 40s. A fast-moving weak system is going to roll through on Sunday. This will give us a few showers. We'll get a break, and then a stronger storm system will start to affect us next Wednesday into Thursday. And this could be a situation where we get rain over to snow. So we're going to watch that system very carefully. 55 and dropping tomorrow. We'll be into the 40s by tomorrow evening. And then tomorrow night down to 23. Christmas Eve, only 33. So we're not going to have a white Christmas, but we're definitely going to have a cold Christmas. As you work into the evening hours, if you're doing family activities, you can see by 10 p.m. we're back down to about 23 degrees for an overnight low. But a little bit better on Christmas Day. Mostly sunny, high temp of 44.
Even without snow, Santa and his sleigh always manage to find a way.
That is true, and I'm sure he will even in 2020 this year.
No doubt about it. Thanks, Doug. Still ahead, the Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas gets some financial help from Freeman Hospital to bring a new healthcare worker training center to the region. And how some Southeast Kansans can get some child care help this holiday season.
Doug Heading.
The future of rural healthcare in the 4 states could be coming from Southeast Kansas. The Community Health Center of Southeast Kansas announced it's creating the John Parolo Education Center. The center is meant to support the training of future physicians and other healthcare professionals in rural Kansas.
Recruiting health professionals to work here has become almost impossible. So it dawned on us we need to grow our own. And the way to grow your own is to attract local students with ambition.
Freeman Health System is contributing $1 million toward the $5 million cost of construction for the center. A groundbreaking is planned for May. Kids need a place to go when school is out every now and then. Well, enter camp now and then. School is, of course, out for the holiday, so camp is on. It runs tomorrow from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at Westside Elementary School in Pittsburgh.
But we do tons of activities. We bring them outdoors for mask breaks and that sort of thing as well. So physical activity, we try to get at least 60 minutes a day, and then 2 to 3 crafts, and then a bunch of different activities throughout the day.
For more information, contact the Pittsburgh Parks and Recreation Department. Final check on weather is next. Take time now to honor a local veteran, Corporal Matthew Day. The Baxter Springs, Kansas native served in the U.S. Army, and we are proud to salute Corporal Matthew Day. He's tonight's 4-state hero. Checking back in with Doug now for a final look at the weather. Douglas.
All right, Dal, we're going to have really windy conditions lasting all night long. We're only going to drop back into lower 50s. We'll warm briefly to about 55 in the morning, but then we're going to drop into the 40s in the afternoon. Few random showers, but turning much colder for Christmas. A high of only 33 on Christmas Eve, only 44 on Christmas Day.
Christmas Eve, a time for that fireplace and hot chocolate. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 10. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
If you see news happen